few minutes ago, somebody was up on the forest road, hollered at me and saw me working down here and said he thought I had a problem up in the corner with the fence. He said he looked like there's spots where the cows have been kind of working bigger holes in there. So, gosh boys, let's go see. So let's keep that thought in mind as we go check out some footage from the trail cam. Now this is footage that we typically see on the motion activated trail cam that points up at the forest road that runs behind our place. There goes our neighbor walking his dog. Usually it's somebody we don't know. Oh, there goes our neighbor again. Somebody we don't know who's looking at his phone in the forest. There's a good reason to take. And there, here he is on the way back. He's still looking at his phone. More interesting than the forest, I guess. Well, how about this one? A couple of hunters. Looks like they got a turkey. Well, and there's Bambi. Must be a rainy day. The lens is foggy. Oh, and there's Buddy, kind of reaching up and doing what he does at night. Oh, but wait a minute, what is this? Now, notice which side of the fence. Wait a minute, Buddy. Buddy's up on the forest road. What? What's going on here? What are you doing up there, Buddy? How did you get out there? Wait a minute. Oh, well, what a coincidence. There goes a farmer with... looks like a little box of food and some rice. And there goes a farmer's wife. Oh, here comes a farmer's wife back. What'll come next? Rattling the food box. Well, what's there? Okay. Oh, ho, ho. A couple of escapees. Surely they'll head right back to the pasture. Oh, wait a minute. I thought we got them back in the pasture. What's this about? Oh, looks like we didn't get them back in the pasture. Wait a minute. We're losing ground. Block the road.
How'd you get out?
Good question. How'd he get out?
Come on, Pat.
Let's back up a couple of days and see what happened. We're over here behind the neighbor's garage today, and the reason is because we had an impromptu rodeo a couple of days ago, and I missed all the excitement, gosh darn. I was off doing some errands, and when I came home, Terry and Chris was home for the day, were out and getting these guys back in the pasture, and they'd just got it done, which means I showed up at the right time. And darned if I can tell where there's both of them were out, and they were down yonder hill, down towards Ross and Ruth's house, which is, oh, just barely visible down there through the trees. You see a little bit of it there. And so the rodeo crew had to come and take care of, yeah, oh boy, that feels good, yeah, scratchy, scratchy. And these guys, when I came out to look at the fence, they seemed particularly interested in this section along the Keys, which is definitely probably ready for replacement, but I'm going to do Band-Aid, Band-Aid, Band-Aid. Kind of a tough fence to replace. I suppose we could do it from this side. You know, all these trees weren't here when Dad put the fence in the first time, so he just pulled the pickup truck along the pasture and unrolled the fence and laid it up against the posts. And I think his original fence was only this tall, and then he went in and added things like this barbed wire later on and started stringing things together like this here. Yes, hello Patch. What am I doing? I'm trying to lock you in. That's what I'm trying to do, you stinking jailbird. Or I should say escapee. Houdinis. The fact that they both got out and I don't see a whole lot of fence damage somewhere is really weird. I don't know, did you guys start jumping like the deer? Have the deer been through at night and you decided to imitate them, just hop over in one bound? So here we are at the back gate, and I ask you, does the grass really look greener in the forest than it does? Okay, well, it looks a little taller anyway than it does over here. I'll give you that. I have a game cam on a tree right about in this area. Whoops. In there. Looking back onto the forest road. And it so happens there was a cow walking by this morning at about 6:40. And it looked to me like he mashed down this hog panel here. So I added a post, beefed up the ties on the end. My guess is that Patch is the one that tends to get out. And they just don't want to be separated. So I think Patch probably got out first, and I'm wondering if he gets out through places like this. Even though it's barbed wire on top. So I'm going around kind of buttoning up these gaps in the fence where the lower one is maybe sagged and the upper one's maybe loose. We got them back to this point this morning. They just followed me like puppies, and they were, you know, probably not even a quarter mile down this way. And I could hear them in the forest, and I whistled for them, and I had a little box of food that I rattled, and they came running, followed me all the way home right to here. And then they saw, uh-oh, we see where this is going. Look at this nice green grass over here. So we coaxed and we took a while. Finally, Patch got in, and Buddy says, nope, I'm going back down that way. So Terry stood here and minded the gate, kept this closed, and Patch was on the inside. Well, Patch was just nuts to be with Buddy. And so he found a spot and just jumped over the fence again. So we're pretty sure that maybe Patch is the instigator, and that's what he's doing. So this spot I spent the morning on. Tightened up the barbed wire here. Doing little ties like this to tie the lower fence up. Or like here. Putting in a few stays here and there. I like those stays. Those are nice. I might invest in a bunch more of those. Just reworking it, patching it up. So I think this will be a spot that'll be tougher to get through. This is June the 8th, and I'm coming to you from the Anderson Bayou, which is out back behind the barn, where there's my lovely assistant, who has been invaluable. And I'm doing my, coming to the end of my second full day, long day, of fencing. And this is what's out back of the barn in the Anderson Bayou, where I'm having to string a little bit of extra barbed wire to fill some gaps here in the fence, and we'll have to come back and do some other work on it too. But for the second straight day, the boys, one or both of the boys have been out. Both of them were out yesterday. Patch was out this morning. Fortunately, he was easy to retrieve. But both of them are now in the designated timeout room. This is the timeout room. And man, I've been working all day, 2 days in a row, fortifying fences. Terry came out and helped me, about 5 or 6 o'clock last night. And we worked till 8 along this fence line, and noticed some gaps we'd have to have some different footwear for. So this is definitely one where the challenge is to bring the boot out with the foot. Yuck. Well, the fencing rig is put away for the night. And it's got to be 6:30 or 7, and here is the timeout crew. Well, you've had another day to think about it, especially you. Have you thought about it? And why is there fur on your horn? That looks like your brother's fur to me. What's going on here, boys? Look at this. What is this? Look at that wad of brown fur that matches your brother here. What have you been doing? Yeah, that's evidence. Have you been poking your brother? Pushing his buttons? Just being a general pest these days, aren't you? What's up? All right, I hope you've thought about it enough. We're going to cut you loose for the night. Well, I set this new post this morning, and the boys are out of timeout, which means, gosh, I have just about all the help I could possibly want. And they are just convinced they want to eat anything but grass. Anything but grass in our pasture. Now, there is grass in our pasture to eat, but yuck, pooey, we don't like that. We want to eat trees. We want to eat the grass outside the pasture, which I'll grant you might look a little nicer, thicker than the grass in the pasture. But there's still grass in the pasture. Go eat it. We even want to eat the tractor. Try all that. Make sure there isn't something there that's good to eat. So suffice it to say, I have all the help a feller could ask for this morning.